Are you dealing with corrective dysfunction? That's basically when somebody feels that they know more about what you are going through than you do. It's a therapist who's like, avoidant personality disorder? Oh yeah, I know all about that. We can start you on CBT. It's somebody who is explaining to you that when you avoid people all the time, that's avoidant personality disorder for sure. Oh, that's depression. Yeah. And the problem with, well, the sexist term is mansplaining, but women do it just as much, thanks. The problem with this to somebody with avoidant personality disorder is, you're not being heard. You're not having somebody listen to you. They're totally diminishing your experience and your knowledge and what you're going through. Because, of course, it really doesn't matter what you think or feel or care about or what your experience is. It's what somebody else heard somebody say, or maybe they made up in their own mind, or maybe they read a paragraph about it 30 years ago. And of course, they know more than you. It is super triggering back to, whatever you went through to get your avoidant personality disorder. Everything about you is just unimportant, and your experience means nothing, and you know nothing, and which of course is not true at all. It's completely the most bogus, crazy thing, and I see you. Okay? I see it. I see this shit. I see what people are doing. I believe you. I know that you know what your experience is. I know that you know what's going on with you. Maybe you don't have the terminology. Maybe it took you years to find out that avoidant personality disorder was a thing. Guess what? You know you. People don't know you. People can't explain to you what your experience is. Okay? I see it when they do it. It reeks like 5-day-old stale fish. It's nasty. They're nasty. And it's not your fault. And it does, it'll shut you right up. You know why? Not because they know anything, not because they're smarter than you, not because there's anything, because you're immediately brought back to wherever you were when you were growing up, when the personality disorder started to really sink in, the way that your feelings, etc., are worthless to whoever it was. It triggers that. And then any other kind of mansplaining, corrective dysfunction. People that feel like they need to tell you X, Y, Z about anything. You might have trainers at work, but other than that, anybody else trying to explain to you how something is and not having a dialogue with you about it. You know what it is. You know what it is. And it triggers the avoidant personality disorder because it is, the same pattern that you dealt with your whole life. I see that. That is what it is. That is why it drives you so crazy. Is because you went through trauma that was basically a smaller version of a mansplaining, of corrective dysfunction. That is your original trauma. And I see it, and I see you, and it's horrible, and people should not do it. And you don't need to have that in your life. You don't need to confront them, although it feels like such a great itch to be able to just tell somebody off for being completely stupid and lame and please, like you know anything. However, that is a confrontation, and maybe that's not good for you. But you definitely can walk away from it. You don't have to engage. You don't have to hear it. You don't have to acknowledge it. You can just get away from that person because it's not good for you. It's not good for you to hear it. You're the one that is important in that situation. I'm sorry, but whoever it is who's spouting off and decide they know everything about everything and can definitely tell you exactly what's going on in your life and what your problem is, and you know what you did to make everybody else feel bad, etc., etc. And you know, yeah, that they know anything about your experience at all. Who cares if their ego is crushed and destroyed? Let's be real. They don't care what they're doing to you. You don't want to care what you're going to do back to them. And I mean, the worst thing you can do is ignore them. But really, ignore them. Ignore them. I see it. I see what you're going through. You don't deserve it. You don't have to hear it. And that's the reality. I'm sorry that it happened to you. I'm sorry that it is happening to you. It is part of life these days. Somebody has to always know, always have an answer. And whatever stupid, fluffy, useless thought pops into their head, they feel like it is mandatory that they say it out loud, that you hear whatever their thought is, and that, well, obviously they know everything and they know the best, so you must agree, no matter how completely, utterly, totally wrong it is. And let's say you can go and find like actual real proof that what they're saying is completely bogus. They'll ignore anything that you have for proof. There's no proving it. These people are just foolish. And they probably don't even remember saying the damn thing they said in the first place, because they don't care. All they care about is, you know, vomiting out whatever thought pops into their head. And then being praised as being smart. You know the truth. I know the truth. I am seeing this. And I completely understand how terrible it is to go through it. You don't deserve it. And you don't need to. And go ahead from now on. Just turn your back on anybody trying to mansplain you. Or splaining. I don't know. I don't like that's a gendered term, like I said. But it is awful. So it's not worth your energy.